Canada-US Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is leading a large delegation to Mexico as Ottawa looks to diversify trade links.
Canada is diversifying trading partners because of the impacts of Trump's tariffs, and part of that strategy is reaffirming Canada's commitments to non-US partners like Mexico.
Breaking tonight, you are not going to believe what Canada just did. Picture this. Over 370 delegates, more than 200 businesses, 3 major cities, Mexico City, Monterrey, Guadalajara, all packed into a single week. This isn't your normal trade trip. This is bold, strategic, and it's sending a message that Ottawa isn't just sitting back anymore. People expected Canada to absorb American pressure quietly. Analysts assumed they'd double down on their reliance on the U.S., hoping for stability. They thought Ottawa would tiptoe through the chaos. They were wrong. Completely wrong. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc didn't hedge. He said, in front of reporters, "We see huge opportunities to expand trade with Mexico." That's not a polite statement. It's a wake-up call. Canada is taking control. Canada is showing the world it has options. Let's put this in context. Last year, Canada did $56 billion in trade with Mexico. $56 billion. That's 12 times what it was when NAFTA began. Mexico is already Canada's third largest trading partner after the US and China, but Ottawa isn't stopping there. They are building a corridor of opportunity, a lifeline for Canadian businesses that doesn't run through Washington. And this is more than numbers. It's about mindset, resilience, and survival. 3 cabinet ministers, hundreds of delegates, businesses spanning tech, clean energy, aerospace, agriculture, and advanced manufacturing. They're all in Mexico this week. LeBlanc outlined a timeline. Contracts and deals expected within 30 days. That's not diplomacy fluff. That's action, urgency, and precision. Every gesture, every handshake, every meeting is part of a larger vision. It's about securing the Canadian economy in a world where uncertainty is the new normal. Why now? CUSMA, the NAFTA replacement, is up for review. Mexico is committed to maintaining the framework, but the U.S.? They're threatening withdrawal, teasing a collapse, using the agreement as leverage instead of as a foundation. Ottawa saw what Washington's chaos meant and turned it into opportunity. They didn't panic, they pivoted. They transformed unpredictability into strategy. That's leadership in its purest form. Take the example of Chad Watson from Quickmill in Ontario. 50 years in business. Most of his revenue comes from the US, a tiny fraction from Mexico. And yet, he's on that plane because he realized relying solely on American trade is a risk he can't ignore. Listen to this. Decades of loyalty weren't enough to guarantee stability. That's the reality businesses are facing right now. And it's not just about money, it's about survival, about protecting livelihoods, about thinking generations ahead. He's far from alone. Jorge Rave, Regional VP for Latin America at Export Development Canada, called it an evolution in mindset. Companies that never considered exporting beyond North America are now asking, how do we sell internationally? And it's not a government program that's driving this, it's Washington's unpredictability. That's the catalyst for Canadian economic reinvention. And the energy in these companies is palpable. Imagine boardrooms buzzing, phone calls flying across time zones, and executives realizing that the world is full of opportunities they never had to consider before. And these aren't small startups gambling on trends. Andre Friedman of Sulfium, a Montreal-based clean tech firm, has grown from 3 employees in Mexico to 60 since 2021. Mexico is their launch market, their hub, their center of gravity. Now multiply that strategy across 200 companies, all moving in 1 week. That's not reactive, that's strength, that's power repositioning. That's a country saying, we have control over our own destiny. Even security issues haven't slowed this mission. 10 workers from a Vancouver mining company were kidnapped in Sinaloa, 5 killed. Ottawa addressed it directly while maintaining open lines with Mexico. Security challenges exist, but mature strategy doesn't shy away from risks. $56 billion in trade, 12-fold growth, and hundreds of opportunities can't be paused for fear. Strategic patience means confronting challenges head-on, not retreating from them. What Canada is doing here is constructing a trade identity independent of Washington. Every threat, every political misstep from the US becomes a reason to diversify and strengthen. Every time Washington thinks it has leverage, Ottawa pivots. This is strategy in action. And it's not abstract, it's concrete, it's real. Jobs, contracts, investments, economic influence, all flowing through deliberate decisions that will shape the Canadian economy for years to come.
Think about the scale again. 370 delegates, 200 businesses, 3 ministers, 3 cities, 6 days, deals expected in 30. This isn't reactive politics. This is a nation asserting its sovereignty, sending a message that it can operate on its own terms. And the mindset behind it is critical. Canadian businesses are learning to think globally, not just regionally. They are building resilience, they are securing futures. And this shift is bigger than any single company. It's national. Ottawa is proving that uncertainty can be transformed into opportunity. American viewers, pay close attention. This is about more than trade. This is a structural realignment. Every instability, every tariff threat, every political wobble from Washington is now a chance for Canada to innovate and expand. Every time you think they're cornered, they pivot intelligently and decisively. And the lessons here go far beyond Mexico. They signal to the world that a country doesn't have to rely on one partner to thrive. Independence is possible. Sovereignty matters. Strategy wins. The results are already measurable. By March, contracts are expected to be finalized. Urgency is real. Canada isn't waiting. They are executing. Each step chips away at U.S. leverage while building credibility and independence. And it's not about rebellion, it's about practical foresight. Every move is calculated, deliberate, and aimed at long-term resilience. Zoom out. This isn't panic. It's calculated courage. Hundreds of delegates, hundreds of companies, 3 ministers, 3 cities, all within 1 week. Contracts expected in 30 days. That is leadership. That is strategy. That is the Carney playbook.